Somebody
I
said
gotta
something
get
about
going at
Lamini again.
6:30, so let's
Yep,
try
me
to
too.
focus our mind on what we set out to accomplish today. Brian, you a snowboarder. Gio, you a snowboarder. Evan, I don't see your face. I assume you're a snowboarder.
Snowboarder.
Okay, and we got AJ skier, me skier. Who is trying to take a PSIA exam this year?
As well.
So,
I'd like to get level 1.
3.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully.
MA is something that we use in teaching all the time, right? We look at the guest and say, oh, why don't you try to do this? Why don't you do that? But MA is also very important in exams. It's part of the exam. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Snow Pros website.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with getting lost and confused and frustrated.
Okay, I'm gonna share my
A
screen
little rough.
and I'll show you where a lot of the stuff resides. And if you want to take an exam, I definitely want you to go there and read through the material, start getting used to it. If you have time and not going for an exam, there's immense value in the new materials that came on just within the last month. There were years and years of work that got this going. So let's see, where are we? I'm gonna go to the snowpros.org. If you click on certification and then go down to performance guide. When this page opens up, there's all kinds of resources. Standards are broken down by discipline. There's alpine, cross-country, snowboard, telemark. There's children's specialist. Then there's performance guide. There's again alpine, snowboard. Let's just do snowboard because we have more snowboarders on. Alpine, all guides are basically broken down the same way. So if you click on it, it'll tell you like, okay, what is this document, how it's looking. It'll give you the 6 snowboard fundamentals. And then it'll talk about riding performance. And it starts with level 1, then it goes into level 2, then level 3. What we are interested in right now is MA. It will have a section that should be titled Technical Understanding. So the next one should be MA, Movement Analysis. Talks about what you need to do as a level 1, the learning outcome, and you also want to be familiar with the language that they use, because they use this in the cert, the assessment, everywhere. It's the same language. Learning outcomes is what they expect you to know as an instructor certified at that level. So like a level 1 snowboard instructor in an MA articulates an accurate cause and effect relationship between body and board performance within any single snowboarding fundamental in a specific phase of a turn or ATML, taking equipment choices and stand setup into consideration to offer a relevant prescription for change. What does this mean to you guys, snowboarders? Or AJ as a skier?
Can we go, what was, one more time? Which one?
Can you guys read this thing on my screen or
It's-
your screen?
It's a little too small for me.
It's a little small. I can kind of read it. What was it, the top section?
Yeah. Okay, I'll read it again then.
Okay.
A level 1 instructor articulates an accurate cause and effect relationship between body and board performance within any single snowboarding fundamental in a specific phase of a turn or ATML, taking equipment choices and stand setup into consideration to offer a relevant prescription for change. It's a long-winded sentence, right? But what does it say to you?
So basically, for me, what I get out as a skier is manipulating your body's performance, manipulating your body to affect change within a ski, the tool, whether it's a tool, whether it's skiing or a snowboard, to create effective movement on snow.
Yes. So one, we have to know the fundamentals, right? It says within any single snowboarding fundamental. So there are 6 fundamentals. For skiers, we have 5 fundamentals. We just don't twist our skis, so we don't have a fundamental for that. Snowboarders do. Then it talks about a specific phase of a turn or approach, takeoff, maneuver, and landing. So either it's a freestyle element or an actual turn. I think Lynn referenced this already. What are the 3 phases of the turn?
You have your entry of the turn, you have like the kind of the apex portion of the turn, you have your exit out of the turn.
Yes, we like to say you have initiation of the turn, you have shaping, and you have finish. So the turn is divided into 3 phases, kind of like the top, the middle, and the bottom. Whatever way, you should pick one of those phases. In skiing, we only use phase of the turn on the alpine side. We haven't put freestyle in it yet, like snowboard did. So AJ, when you're going for your level 1, you will have to pick one part of the turn, one of those 3 segments. So you can talk about the initiation phase, the shaping phase, or the finishing phase, and you'll have to use one of the skiing fundamentals.
Okay.
So do you know what the skiing fundamentals are?
Yes.
Can you rattle off one quickly?
Control skis, control the lower body separate from the upper body.
Okay, so control the skis rotation with lower body separate from the upper body.
Yes. Better wording. Thank you.
That relates to rotary movements, right? Rotation.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would look at the turn, right? And you would look at 2 things, because then it says, articulate an accurate cause and effect relationship between body and board performance. So again, AJ is the most vocal. So he said ski stuff. He would have to look at, if he wants to look at that fundamental, how movements in the body affect the rotation of the skis, if we want to keep it in that realm, right? You wouldn't want to talk about pressuring the tips at that point. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But you want to say like, okay, the ski is being rotated at initiation. right? There are people that come into a turn and then just flip their skis around. So most of the rotation happens at the initiation phase. And there's a lot of people that take their shoulder, whip it around, and their skis come around, right? So you would say, you know, they do not separate upper lower body. They're controlling the skis rotation with upper body. You just said cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would say, if you guys, I don't want to spend time like reading this document all night long, but just to pick out an example, you know, communicates why the application of body movement is appropriate for the beginner novice zone. That's like a successful performance contributor. So like you would say, well, they use their upper body. So to improve on that performance, I would guide them through exercises where they can keep their upper body more stable and use their lower body to control the rotation of the skis. Bam. The examiner will be clapping and you'll get like a 5 or 6, which again, you'll understand when we talk about the scales later on in training. But in an exam situation, that's what they expect you when you do MA. For that, what Lynn's doing is, so you understand body movements is very important. The other thing of that is tool performance, what a board is doing, what a ski is doing. And that's what I would like to address tonight. What can a ski do, AJ, in a turn?
What can a ski do?
Yes. What are the things?
It can go forward. It can go onto an edge. It can be lifted up.
Okay. So there are something called skills concept that we talk about in PSIA. A ski can do 3 things. A ski can rotate, right? Where is it pointing? A ski can edge. How is it tilted? And a ski can be pressured along the length, ski to ski, magnitude of pressure. All those can be adjusted on a ski. And you should be able to visually see those things happen to a ski, right? If you pressure a ski, it's gonna bend. If you pressure the tip's gonna bend more. If you pressure in the middle, the ski is gonna bend in the middle. If you pressure the tail, the tip might even be off the snow, right? And the tail's beating in it. A snowboard can do the same 3 things, but what else can it do, Gio? Just one more thing that you guys have, the last fundamental that we don't have.
For board performance, yeah,
Yes.
twist.
A board can twist. So you guys looking for 4 things, skiers are looking for 3 things in tool performance. When we're talking about ski or board performance, what are we watching for beside those things on the slope? If somebody's skiing or snowboarding, what else can we describe?
A lot of times I'm looking at what their body is doing, because
Time out. We all imagine it's a ghost. It's a white out. Only you see the tool. You don't see the person. That's Lynn. We leave the body to Lynn. Today, we only want to talk about tool performance.
oh, in
So you
that
look-
case, then I could look at the track that they left in the snow to see what's happening.
Good. What does the track tell you?
I mean, and when we're talking about snowboarding, I guess this would be true for skiing too. It can tell you where initiation happened. It can tell you how carved the turn is versus how skidded the turn is.
Open and closed.
yeah, figure out
Good.
turn shape.
That's the word I was looking for. That's a very important part of what we're looking in the tool, right? What kind of shape that turn makes, right? So that's a very good information that tells us about tool performance. If you are in an exam, you definitely want to mention the turn shape. What else, which is because the body is connected to the tool, we can talk about the speed that that ski or board or the person is traveling with. Are they picking up speed? Are they going constant speed, right? Can they exhibit speed control? That's an important aspect of tool performance when we talk about it. Then there are those things. Where is that board or ski being edged? Where is it being rotated? So where the front, or if I'm skiing switch or snowboarding, the back, you know, makes the turn, and where pressure is being developed and what part of the turn. So those are all things we can watch for. As a skier, we have two, so we can watch for their relationship of how they are related to each other, the width of how far apart they from each other, how simultaneously they are being worked, right? So skiers can look at that, and then boarders can also look for the twist. Is twist happening? Where is it happening in a turn, right?
Mhm.
That all gives you something to explain about the tool performance. Then when you combine it with the body stuff, you can explain why is that tool performance happening? What is that person doing in their body to make that happen? And that's all just observation so far, right? You see what's happening in the tool, what's happening in the body, what's in the body causing that. Now then you can evaluate it saying, okay, that's happening, but I would like this to happen, rather than, you know, bringing the board around and just swoosh it around and then start side flipping down the hill and then traverse. I'd like it to gradually develop an edge, grab the turn, and make a C-shaped turn. So you evaluate that performance, and then you can give them a prescription of how to move from what you saw to what you want to see. And so in MA, you observe, you evaluate, and then you prescribe. Those are the 3 steps that, again, you'll be responsible for an exam. In a lesson that's looking at your client, you know, thinking about like, what do you want to change, and verbalizing it to them and showing it to them. Hey, let's do this. The same
Would
thing.
you say observe, accept,
Evaluate,
evaluate, observe,
and then
evaluate,
prescribe.
and then prescribe? Got
These
it.
3 words are in those documents on the Snow
Yeah.
Pros. So when you go to an exam, they look at it favorably if you're using PSIA terminology. That will be counted in your professional knowledge, like technical understanding, and in MA, and in your teaching segment, where you instructing your peers. Are you using PSIA specific language? So the more you look at that stuff, the more you're familiar with the terminology, the better it will look on you. So the easiest stuff is to start at observing. Today, I don't want any kind of prescription. I just want to run through as many videos as we can and just observe what the tool is doing. Don't worry about the body. All I care is what the tool is doing. Now, here is something though. A lot of time you can't really see what exactly happening on the snow with the tool, especially on video. Can you infer from where the shins are pointing, the angles, the legs, how they are? Yes, you can infer what the tool is doing. So you can look at the body, but let's not talk about it when we describing what's happening. Okay, I'll share the screen. I have a couple snowboard. I just like rated YouTube, whatever I could find, skiing and snowboarding that I thought might show some kind of thing. We'll look at it, chime in. There's only 4 of you guys, so hopefully, you know, we can figure this out and we don't have to make breakout rooms or everything. Let's hit it, but anybody has any questions about what we're doing or the terminology?
Good to
Watch
go.
videos, talk about what the plank is doing.
Okay. Let's go to number 1. If we see ads, I'm sorry, I tried to run through all of them before and watched all the ads. So hopefully YouTube is happy.
Are you putting it up on your screen again?
I'm gonna do screen share and
Okay.
we'll see, hopefully the
Oh, I see.
quality will be good and we'll be able to see things. Very short clips. We're gonna be looking at this skier in the black facing away from us on the top of the screen, the closest to the camera, doing a couple turns, then I'll stop. If we have to rerun it, let me know. Otherwise, we can talk about it.
Killington. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that frame rate.
Is it not coming through good?
No,
Yeah, we're getting a slideshow, not a movie.
yeah, that won't work.
Okay.
Late turn.
Well, that's
Uh,
what.
I lost the screen share. I was messing around. Sorry, I'm on a phone. You guys
No,
are
it's okay. I've had this same issue where I did a PSIA clinic and I tried to play some videos. Sometimes they play perfect. Sometimes there's a delay when it gets into Zoom. I'm gonna just pull up the video, stop it at a point, and we'll talk about it at that freeze frame. Go back to. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yep. Yep.
So what phase of the term the skier is in?
Which skier?
One to
The
the right.
one to the right, the black jacket, that's the one we were
Shh.
trying to watch in movement.
Shaping or finishing. I would say finishing. Because it looks like she's like about to turn into the.
Yeah, I would call that the finishing phase. I think she
Yeah.
already went through shaping. If
Skis are
you
parallel face down. Yeah. Sorry.
yes, if you had been able to see her turn, she was turning the skis very quickly. and not a whole lot of edge angle. So she was doing skidded turns, more like Z-shaped turns. That's something I wanted to hear somebody describe, but if you don't see the flow, it's hard to like see that what she's doing. She was rotating the skis very quickly in the initiation phase, and then she was drifting sideways, like kind of side slipping through the shaping phase of the turn, and then just traversing out of the turn in the finishing phase. Can you see that turn happen in your head, how I described it?
Yeah.
Okay. Her skis, the width between the skis are stayed relatively even, not constant, but not huge differences. She started out with converging skis. So she did a little pizza at initiation usually, and then finished the turns more parallel. This would be, in my opinion, a very good explanation in a level 1 or 2. In a level 3, I might want to hear a little more about different performances, but like in level 1, you only have to do one fundamental in one phase of the turn. Anybody has anything else to add that they saw, see, that relates to the skis? If you had seen the video, you would probably say she maintained speed control. Like the skier wasn't picking up speed, but looks like it was going somewhat of a constant speed. Okay, let's see what we can do with our snowboarder. Do you guys have the snowboarder up?
Yep.
I'm gonna attempt to play it, and we'll see if it's gonna be a slideshow or a play. And if I stay quiet, we might have better luck. Did it come through as a video?
It was a little better,
Yeah, it was better.
but still problematic.
Yeah, that's why we need to do this in the kids club. Okay, one more time. Okay. Somebody fire away.
Appeared to maintain speed.
Okay. Speed control was evident. Good.
There's definitely a little bit of skidding in the carves
Okay.
around.
So not a completely edge turn, but not plain skidded turns, but somewhere in between.
Yeah, it looks like the initiation is more carved, and then about halfway through, the board is kind of pivoting around the center point and becoming more of a skid, and then finishing out on the new edge.
Is it Geo that's talking?
Yeah,
Yeah, very good. You gave board performance, you gave where in the turn, awesome job. Okay. How about turn shape?
Kind of like a C turn.
C turn. They were round, right?
Yeah, like a half rainbow.
Okay. What would you say about the rate of edging and de-edging? Was it sudden or was it gradual?
Gradual.
I agree. I was watching edging and it wasn't just like thump on, thump off, but gradually got a little higher, and then went down. Okay, good. So this is what we're trying to do, is see what the tool is doing. We'll go back to a ski clip. There's gonna be different people doing little different things. Let's watch it and see what happens if we can see a movie, not a slideshow.
Let's see.
Don't worry about the letters.
It's just pressure stays on both inner edges, I mean.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, when they do a pizza, they're using their inside edges. Good. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
description.
Yeah. No,
How
I'm
about
a
this
skier.
gentleman over here?
He's using his upper body to twist.
Who was that?
AJ?
AJ, you got a yellow card. Why? What were you talking about?
That's right. Body, not tool movement. Okay.
Exactly.
He's
So-
making
I'm usually a red card guy, so I'll take a yellow.
This is
He's-
just a warning. I don't want to lose you yet.
he's making the edges go
So in skiing, we call this
parallel. It's like his outer edge and his inner edge, but he's putting both weight on one foot and the other, but on opposite edges, I guess.
yeah, he's trying to go from pizza to parallel, like doing wedge Christies, where he starts in a wedge, but then tries to close up to parallel throughout the turn. His turn shape, was it nice and smooth or was it abrupt?
It was abrupt.
So we call that
Abrupt.
Z-shaped, right? Because he was kind of coming across the hill and all at once whoop, pointing to the new direction, and then coming across the hill and then point to the new direction. So that's what we call a Z-shaped turn. Did he move both skis at the same time?
No.
So he moved the skis sequentially. Good. Did he move one ski faster than the other?
Yes.
Which ski moved faster, the outside or the inside ski?
Be the outside, wouldn't it?
I would say his inside ski moved faster. Once
Oh.
he got his outside ski,
I don't remember.
Kinda
An
lifted.
inside ski's the one that's up the
It-
hill.
Inside ski.
the inside
it's-
ski is that on the shorter radius. So look at the red jacket just in front of him down the hill, right? Do you guys see the red jacket, kid, where my pointer is?
Mhm.
If that person is turning this way, turning to the left, their right ski would be the outside ski and their left ski would be the inside ski.
Okay.
So when the right ski comes around, you really have to hurry that inside ski to point the same way. And that's what this kid was doing, controlling
he-
the turn with his left ski here and just swoosh the right ski in really quickly.
in the right ski, when he makes the turn, the right ski becomes his inside ski.
Yes.
Yep.
So this kid now that we talked about, the gray shirt, gray
Yeah.
sweatshirt, he just finished. You can still see like the turn here. That was his right ski.
Yeah.
Going. So he was turning to the right. His left ski is the outside ski that goes on the bigger circle. His right ski is on the inside. That's the inside ski. When he goes to the other way, they switch. His right ski gonna be the outside ski, and his left ski gonna be the inside ski. I don't know if he'll do one more turn. Let's see.
I got it.
Nope, he didn't do another turn for us. Boom. See how the right ski just quickly comes in?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's go back to our friend. here.
I
more
skied for a
time.
long time, like 13, 14 years. I skied for.
Left ski, left ski. Boom, right ski, left ski comes in. He goes left ski. Boom, right ski comes in. A
Okay.
very sequential move. He was changing his edges from inside edge to flat or outside edge at the finishing phase of the turn. Do we agree on that?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to another snowboarder.
So
I've got like,
one thing I was noticing with that, because I don't think skiing ever, there's this, like, both times when he was in that midpoint, in that shaping part of the turn, he was kind of stuck, or it looked like, I would argue, was stuck. And then the unsticking is that very quick move of the uphill ski or the inside ski kind of coming into the new turn shape. And is that kind of not being able to get the ski to come all the way around, that what looks like stuck to me, a byproduct of the fact that the shaping isn't happening at the same time?
Seems like
I would say there's-
hesitance.
I would say there's more pressure on the. I would think there was pressure on both skis, and then he finally released pressure and
Got
moved
it.
it.
Okay.
Does that make
He
sense?
was-
Because he kind of almost lifts it up and forces the turn instead of gliding into it.
But when he pauses, it's kind of like a hesitance, because you're moving and he's having to make these decisions right then at that moment, where he's
Mhm.
creating those turns.
he looks like a very inexperienced skier. That might have been his first day on skis.
Yeah.
And when he gets the skis turned into the fall line, that's where you guys see him being hesitant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh, I'm going down the hill, so I think he has to collect himself and get out of the fall line. And he's doing everything with his body that he can to drive those skis. So yes, AJ, you were correct about it, but we weren't watching for that. So he did get stuck, and I think he was also scared at the same time that he was able to move the skis, but then he was going down the hill.
Yeah, and that's a big kid, and I just imagine in teaching big kids like that, they go down the hill a little bit faster. I just imagine.
Yeah. You
Unless
have
they
to
don't have any
skate like
wax on.
crazy after them and catch them.
Physics.
I just imagine, especially if there's some good wax on those rental skis or whatever. Phew. Have a.
All right. Let's
I
see if
love
these snowboarders
skiing.
will play for us. We can watch. The guy in the red jacket is the instructor, and then the lady in the black is the student behind him. We can watch both. I think they only do like 2 turns each. Nope.
Well,
just
that's
one
a
turn.
heavy slideshow.
Okay, well, 5 seconds of ad. Sorry.
Dennis, you go buy a summer board?
Yep.
We
An
just
ad.
watched your ad. Okay, we'll go back and watch her again. It's just 1 turn. So you were at what? there.
Yeah, this one's pretty choppy.
Yeah, we can't see that.
I can see it's a heel edge turn. It's like
It's a
Maybe.
toe side turn.
oh.
Oh boy.
But okay, if you go
I got
back,
about
we can
3
look at the
frames.
snow.
And the fourth frame was her finishing, like looked like kind of.
Yeah. Let's see if we can do it one more time.
That looks like a nice resort. Like Washington or something. Idaho.
I thought Steamboat. I don't know why.
Well, let's see if it says
Right,
anywhere in the
so
Schweitzer.
keep the screen big, because there's
Okay.
a lot of data I could pull from that track right there.
thing. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Let's talk about
Right
it.
there.
So in the initiation part, I'm seeing 2 edge contact points. So they're the heel edge prior to transferring to the toe. There's more pressure on the heels, but the board is flat.
Okay.
And you kind of see, I mean, it's hard. I want to point and mark on things. You can kind of see that point where the heel edge disappears, and that's right when you get to that shaping portion of the turn.
Nice.
And this is a very skidded
Yep.
kind of turn. Like even now, while she's on her toe, you can see that heel edge dragging. So
I
she's
see.
a hope and a prayer from falling on her head.
She's confident now. That's the first moment that the toe edge turn clicked for her. That's like the first. That's why they're raising their arms up like that.
Yes. Where did the board rotate the largest amount, the most? What phase of the turn? Just by looking at the tracks.
It wasn't initiation.
Yeah, I'd almost,
The shaping, maybe?
or even finishing.
I would
Yeah,
call finish because
like-
she pretty much got through just like that skier, right? Heading down the fall line, not much heel pressure, and just right at the finish, she's like, wait, I have to point it across the hill. And she swung it around with her hips. But it's kind
Shifting
of like
the
a J turn. It just
shifting the
going.
hip around,
Yeah, if you
And
look at the shape
switching the
angle,
pressure on her stance.
the arc on the track is more kind of V shaped more than like a C shape.
Yes, I agree. So somewhere between shaping and finish.
Where should it have been?
I mean, if you want to be really good, it should have been measured out throughout the whole turn, right?
Right.
So, but again, this is a beginner, first timer.
Yeah, for an entry rider, it's more in that shaping part of the turn that you want the bulk of the turning to be happening.
The redirection. Okay. Did she change edges?
No.
Not significantly, right?
Yeah,
There
enough
was-
to move the board, but as I said, a hope and a prayer from catching that downhill edge.
Okay. Did you guys see any twist happening in the board?
Oh no, we didn't. I didn't see. It's hard to see with the slideshow.
I would argue, well, no, I mean, it's a very skidded turn. So it could have been a byproduct of twisting. It could be a byproduct of pivoting.
Yeah, maybe there's a little twist in the board when she pressed her. Really
So,
kind of went
It
to the
wasn't a good
toes.
angle to see much of the board performance, but by looking at her shins, I was able to watch the actual video, not the slideshow. I didn't see different shin angles. So I inferred that she wasn't using twist from that.
She's just using the basics. It's like
if I saw it correctly in the legs, she kind of leaned to the nose, went for it, and then whooped the board around.
Okay, so a lot of pressure on the nose, and that's what's causing the back to skid out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So we beat her up enough. Go to a skier.
Just so you know, Dennis, you got about 10 minutes. You said if you have to go at 6:30.
Yeah, I have the phone like set up right here next to me too.
Okay.
Get this guy for a second. Okay, let's go back, look at him again. All right. When he was approaching the box, turn shape, what would you guys say?
They seem to be really open.
A Z shape.
Okay. Open Z-shaped turns. What do you mean by open?
I mean, he's more or less just controlling speed, but just headed down the fall line. He's not really holding his edge and really holding a turn. It's just kind of quick
Yes.
open turns.
That's the Z-shaped turns, and he did traverse in between. I just wanted to like hear if you say like he was moving from one side of the hill to the other side, and that's what you meant open, or he was going down the hill a lot during the turn.
Yep.
So he lost a lot of vertical elevation. That's what you called open.
Yeah.
Okay. So he basically used his like skis, throwing them sideways, side slipping to control his speed, then went across the hill, threw them across again, side slipping.
Would that be a skidded turn, or would that be?
That's a skidded turn, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's literally throwing the skis around and side slipping.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go back to about here. So what are his skis relations right there on the picture?
They're parallel.
Parallel. Okay. Are they on corresponding or opposing edges, AJ?
Corresponding.
And what does that mean?
They're on the same edge. They're on the, well, I guess they would be, to me, so it looks like they're on the same edge. They're on the, but that would be on the left leg would be the outside edge, and on the right leg is on the inside edge.
Okay.
So I guess that wouldn't be corresponding then.
It is corresponding.
Okay, yeah, they're on
I'm
the
not
same
trying to
edges
trick
of the
you.
same of the ski.
I just wanted to hear more about your understanding of what corresponding is. You said it correctly. Corresponding, it means they are both on their uphill edges.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, cool.
So if they were opposing edges, would it mean one is on the uphill, one is on the downhill edge, and they're looking at each other. So good. Parallel and corresponding edges. What's the relationship of the skis here?
Pizza.
Yeah.
Converging. Pizza. Yes, they point to each other. How about edging? What do you guys see on the skis as far as edging goes?
Pretty flat.
None.
Yeah,
Which ski is flat?
Yeah, the left leg
left
looks
ski.
flat.
The uphill, the
Exactly.
outside.
The right
And-
ski looks like it's doing an inside edge.
Yes, the right ski, I would say it's on the inside edge because the heel drops away from him and it looks like he's on that edge. Okay. How about pressure? Where would we put his pressure along the length of the ski.
It looks like the inside edge has the most pressure, right, of the right ski?
Yep.
Along the length, front to back.
Oh, along the length, yeah.
The heels, right?
On the right ski, I would say in the middle of the ski. I don't see
Yeah.
the tail or the tip being out of the snow or one being pushed in deeper.
Yeah.
You know, not a whole lot of pressure because I don't see the ski bending. Like in a high performance turn, you would see it bending. If anything, maybe slightly more towards the hill, but more in the middle. Now on that left ski, I see a little ski lead on the left ski. So I would say he's more on the rear part of the left ski. Did he maintain speed control?
It was all right.
He more
Yeah,
or less did.
Yeah,
So
I
whatever
mean,
he did worked
entered
for
it-
him.
He nailed the rail.
Wow.
Relationship of the skis.
Parallel
Parallel.
Okay.
Pointed.
and
French fried.
parallel and corresponding, kind of.
If this was a snowboard, he'd be on his butt.
we'd be dead.
Yeah, it looks like he's up on. He looks like he's kind of going up on an edge, on that inside edge.
His weight's back.
He's doing the same thing. So I think he feels more comfortable on sitting on his left leg and bracing with the right leg. Because he's doing the same thing here that he did up there in the snow. And he's very close to like losing it on skis. His skis going out downhill away from him and him falling on his uphill side.
Mhm.
Because he should have both skis flat and actually a little more weight on that right ski, but he doesn't have a lot of weight on the right ski. Now we can look at the body and he's mostly over his left ski. The right ski is just bracing like, I don't want to go down on this slidey thing.
Yeah.
There'd also be a byproduct of hitting that rail system at such a traverse. I'd have to go back, but I would argue that if we're here on the maneuver part, we probably weren't very central on the takeoff.
Yeah, he was coming in a little pizza.
I know we're taboo with saying things, but with the arms where they are, I can't imagine that is.
So when
I think
you
it's an
start
outcome of other things.
when
Sorry.
you start, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you start working with somebody, do you think you're looking at their like first off when they first start doing stuff, you're looking at their tool like every time, or you just
Appropriate.
pointing this out as a part to pass the PS to get certified?
I think it's a both.
I look
right?
at body personally a lot, but I also
Yeah.
like look at what that does to their ski. How does it affect? Because at the end of the day, we want to affect what the ski does or what the board does. You know, sometimes people can get away with doing funky things in their body. If the ski works for them, is that something we want to correct, or is there something more important that we can address that will affect their tool performance?
Yeah, like ability and understanding on how to go to edges or go down and switch to edge or whatever. Turn.
Yeah, if they whooping their ski or board around, I doubt that they're gonna be successful on the long term. So how is that tool going through the snow? That gives me a lot of information of what do I really want to address here.
Yeah.
All right. We got like a couple minutes left, so I'm gonna stop screen share. And we can just all say our questions, our thoughts. What is your guys' takeaway? What do you think about looking at the tools?
It's an interesting reframing of the same exercise. Like usually when we're doing this, it's a lot more focused on what the body is doing, and then the kind of thinking about the effect as an afterthought. So just kind of eliminating the body altogether, looking at like what is the outcome here, and then potentially going back and diagnosing some sort of cause for what the tool is doing.
Good. I purposefully limited us just to the tool because Lynn's doing such a good job with the body. Eventually, we're going to have to combine both together. But at the beginning of the season, it's nice to train your eyes on the tool and on the body separately, and then put it together where you have the discipline not to kind of mix things together right away. And somebody asked you about, you know, what the tool is doing, and you start talking about the body. Because in a level 2 exam, you'll ski up, or the examiner will snowboard next to you and say, hey, Gio, your task on this run is to tell me what the snowboard's doing. Then you don't want to talk about the body. So you have to have the discipline to be able to just look and address what the tool is doing. And again, in lessons, it gives me a lot of information. What do I want to address first? And then I look what causing that performance of the tool. And then now I have some movements to change. AJ, takeaway?
I liked the exercise, and I think that I can visualize what I should, how to prescribe better movement for a student. But I like the use of terminology, like PSI terminology, to describe what's taking place and how to address how to address and affect positive skiing technique.
Cool. Brian?
Yeah, I'd mirror Gio in saying oftentimes I'm looking and seeing what the body's doing on students, and I think it's really good, especially early in the season here. I'm kind of just soaking things up like a sponge, just because it's been a while. I haven't really had the teacher cap on, so it's kind of shaking off the cobwebs. And getting into that thought process and taking it, compartmentalize it and take it slow, and just say, hey, look, we've worked on what the body's doing. Let's just look at the tool. It's a good approach. I do like that. And I do like seeing it approached this way and all sorts of approaches, because it adds, in personally for me, it adds to my toolkit as far as, hey, if I might not have caught something, what the body's doing, as Gio was mentioning, it's great, see what shape the snowboard or the skis are making. That's a tall tale sign of things that you can infer, and things that you can look at for future drills, if you will. So I think getting these lessons, if you will, these meetings and seeing it from different points of view, also from different instructors, clinicians, it's great.
For
And
us
also-
skiers, it's a very good tool of looking at the tracks, because a lot of time when my students fall, they put too much weight on their inside, and you see the inside track really deeper and more prominent than the outside track. And when they fall, I make them come back and like, hey, let's look at the crime scene.
Yeah,
you know why you fell?
Yep,
That's what I was gonna say.
Because look at how much weight you had. You crushed the snow here. Look at this one. This one was just like, hey, I should be being standing on, but I'm not. So it even helps me to take them back to the tracks.
Yeah, for me, you put a good point there. Like a lot of the visual learners who want to see it being done, but also see a visual interpretation of what you're describing. When you say, hey, you put too much pressure here, well, what does that look like? What does that make the ski or snowboard do? So that's great.
AJ, you were going to say something.
No, I was just gonna. You took the words out of my mouth. Just thinking about like, or in smaller groups or private lessons, being able to have that example and point back to the hill to show the student, hey, so here we go. You see your tracks versus my tracks, and how effective skiing technique versus what you're doing, and then try to address that, like Brian said, for the visual learners. So I just thought it would be a good tool.
All right, great job. Thanks for playing, guys. I appreciate your time. I would challenge you, when you out there riding or skiing with friends or whatever, even alone, look at people on the hill and see if there's you in pairs. Describe to each other what you see. Pick a skier, pick a boarder, and play with this along the season.
I love judging people on the hill.
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, it's entertaining. All right,
Dig
guys.
it. Awesome. Thank you, Dennis. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
one.
See you guys
you
up
later.
on the hill sometime.
Heck yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Yep.